I was looking back through Visible Learning for Mathematics today, and I ran across something that I thought was very interesting. In the book, they talk about learning goals being a student's rights issue, and I'm going to read you a sentence or two. Students have a right to know what they're supposed to learn and why they're supposed to learn it. It's only fair that students understand what they're expected to learn if teachers are going to evaluate that learning. I thought this was really interesting because I never thought about learning goals being a student's rights issue. I knew as a teacher that I needed to write the goal on the board, but I didn't always spend much time looking at it or really explaining it to students. It was more of a compliance issue for me rather than it being a student's rights issue. But if learning goals are a student's rights issue, if students have a right to know what they're supposed to learn, then it's incumbent on me as a teacher to spend a little bit of time going through that goal with them each day so they can frame the learning that we're going to do. I have an example on the board of a learning goal, and notice that I have this learning goal broken up into 3 different colors. So it says create an area model to represent a problem and find the product. So this learning goal would be in a unit on multiplying fractions, and today we're focusing on creating the area model and reading the area model. I have it broken up into colors, so as the class period goes on and we're learning, I can easily point back to where we are in the learning goal, into the piece of the learning goal that we're working on. So let's say we've already created the model and we are working on reading the model to find the product. I could point back to this red part and say, and find the product. So right now we are learning to read this model to find the product. That's the finding the product part. Or if we're working on reading the problem and figuring out how do we make the model, then I can point back here to that we are creating the area model that represents the problem. This gives students a frame of reference for the understanding that they're learning. And as they're working through this, they can begin to then tell whether or not they really get it. If at the end of the period they can say, yes, I can create a model, yes, I can read that model to find the product, then they've accomplished that learning goal for the day. And what great formative assessment for you to understand, for you to know that they know it. I hope you've enjoyed this Teach Transform Teacher Tip. Thank you.